Some very cool stuff going on. We were talking the other day about these different ways of inputting music or getting music into recording devices. And one thing was different kinds of input devices like these drumsticks that were air drumming drumsticks, where you don't have to actually have a drum kit, but you can just kind of use the drumsticks in the air and have it register as drums. Something that was ideal for...
Just have to have the attitude.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
have to have the attitude.
And
I like that idea.
With some in the first set that the guy who I saw the video for, he reviewed two different ones. The first one, they came out with like a kind of a terrible review on his part, where they were Bluetooth enabled, and there was just a little bit of a lag with it, and the app that was with it was just terrible. Like he was having all kinds of problems with it, trying to run it with his iPad. But then he got a second set, which is a very similar name, but by a different company. And this time he was just blown away at how good they were. And they were based on using the PlayStation camera, essentially. So he has a PlayStation camera that comes with it, and it watches for the essentially the ends of the sticks for the hands. And then for the feet, I think it was just little reflectors that you put on your feet. So it watches your hands and your feet, and it can see when when you make an impact with any of those, it'll register the drum hits. So we can watch them and check it out here.
And that's such a smarter approach. I mean, you can see how they get rid of the latency doing that. Camera can see things instantly. Bluetooth is a horrible choice for any musical instrument.
Mm-hmm. Let me bring up that video now here. It was by Lootd, L-O-O-T-D, on YouTube. And let's do this.
And, these are really 21st century controllers.
Mm-hmm.
Music in this new century, controllers are going to be the key. It's not so much whether you're a guitarist, a keyboardist, or whatever. You might have virtual controllers in the future that turn you into a guitarist.
Yep. And this would be one of the ways, like to try to minimize the amount of hardware you need in the house just to get the notes into the machine. And then you can do with, things like Cakewalk, things like BandLab, you can do things with those notes once they're in there. But this is just getting the main idea in. So let's see what he's got here.
Yeah, I think the more people get comfortable with it. Wow.
In the last few years, there have been several companies that have attempted to make air drumming devices that mimic the feeling of playing a real drum kit. And a few months ago, we tried one for the first time, and honestly, it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had with a modern music device. They were temperamental, the drums kept moving around, and the app, oh god, the app was so bad. But yeah, check out the video here if you want to find out more about that. But after making that video, I got an email from the guys at Aerodrums, who are a small UK-based company and the OGs when it comes to air drumming instruments. And he mentioned that their device was able to deliver a more authentic drumming experience similar to that of an electric drum kit, which had me intrigued, so I said, sure thing, I'll try it out on the channel. So this week, that's exactly what we're going to do. And before we get started, full disclosure, this kit was sent to us by Aerodrums, and I even had a chat with the marketing guy, who was a super nice chap. But this video isn't sponsored, they haven't told me what to say, and like always, I'll do my best to keep my opinions honest. So if this thing turns out to be rubbish, I won't sugarcoat it, I'll just say it's rubbish. Just judging from the packaging, I wouldn't assume that this thing is a serious piece of kit. I mean, the logo looks serious enough, but the font they've used down here looks like it was taken straight out of the children's book. Aerodrums is portable, virtually silent, expressive, and MIDI compatible. All very good things. So inside the box, what have we got? A couple of Aerodrum stickers, the instructions, a safety warning, and what I'm going to assume is the warranty. Yep. Then we've got the drumsticks with the reflective balls on the end. And they feel like pretty standard drumsticks. They're quite lightweight, but totally usable. And then we have a couple of reflective panels to use as foot pedals, a camera, as well as a small LED ring light. Oh, that's cute. They've even put a tiny tube of glue in here, so if you need to replace the balls at any point, you can do that. So this is everything that you get in the box, and I've got to say, for £150 or $200, this doesn't really seem like a lot, but that price does also give you access to the software, so with any luck, it makes it worth the price, but we'll find out. Also, is it just me, or is this a PlayStation 3 camera? In fact, if I remove this little black sticker, as I thought, this is a PlayStation camera. See, right there? PlayStation logo. Either way, I'm just happy that I don't have to buy a camera, and it comes with one as standard. Also, these reflective panels that you put on your feet to use as pedals do feel quite cheap. I mean, they are literally just a cut out of foam with a reflective panel stuck to the top of it with an elastic strap so you can put it around your feet, and that is it. Nothing particularly fancy going on here, but then again, does it really need to be fancy? As long as it works, I'm not really bothered. And then inside the box just here, you've got your product key, which you will need to download the software from the Aerodrums website. And that software will work on both Windows PCs and Macs. Now, the big difference between the Aerodrums and something like the Pocket Drums is that instead of using Bluetooth tech, which is pretty unreliable, the Aerodrums use a camera which is hooked up to a laptop or PC, and it can more reliably track your movements. And using their software, you can change the position of the drums to fit your play style, you can change out different parts of the kit, you can add more drums, you can change the samples, etc. Which, though already sounds way better than the Pocket Drums, does also sound like it's going to require quite a bit more setup time, but we'll get to that in just a bit. Now, at this point, you might be wondering what the LED light and the reflective panels are all about, and it's all basically just to assist the camera with tracking your movements. So the light from the LED light bounces off the reflective surfaces, goes back into the camera, and now it can clearly see the points it's meant to be tracking. Whereas if you didn't have these, the camera wouldn't know where to track, and it would just be a complete mess. But also, as the motion tracking is light-based, you can't play these things outdoors in the daylight or with a bright window behind you, as the light from the sun will mess up the tracking. But if you want to play this thing outdoors at night, though a bit weird, you certainly can. They did also send over a stand, which though is sold separately, does allow you to set up the camera pretty much anywhere, which is pretty easy to set up, and it also comes with a handy dandy carry bag. And it's not even that tall, it's about waist high, so it's not very cumbersome and very easy to move around. So if you are in an awkward place and there's nowhere to rest the camera, like in a studio or in a hotel room, just pop up the stand and you're good to go. Now, it's at this point where I really wish that I had a laptop so I could continue doing this video here in the studio, but alas, I do not. So we're going to have to take this video into the living room where my PC is. Now bear with me a second as I make my desk at least somewhat presentable. Whew. Saying getting this set up to work in the living room was a bit faffy is an understatement. It was quite faffy. It took about an hour and a half to get it all sorted, and now I'm tired. So here is the setup. We've got the light and the camera on the stand connected up to the PC. Hooking up the camera to the PC, downloading the software, and getting it all up and running was all very straightforward. The only really annoying thing is the fact that we have a massive window here in the living room, so all the light that was spilling in was bouncing off the walls, making it very hard for the camera to track my movements. So I had to put one of the massive sound blankets over the window just to get this thing to work. If I had a laptop and I could film in the studio, it would have been way easier as I have full control of the lighting in there. But oh well, what's done is done. Setting up the software was super easy. It basically just holds your hand through the whole procedure. It's just full of instructions. It makes it super straightforward. It would be cool if one day they managed to provide a camera that has both the light and the camera combined in one unit, so it only uses up one USB port. I know it's not that big of a deal when using a PC like this, but won't somebody please think of the MacBook users? So I've got my sticks, I've got the pedals strapped to my feet, and the camera is all ready to go. So all I need to do is back my ass up and we can start playing this thing. Finally, I can stop talking. You think I like talking this much? No, it hurts my throat. So right now we have the small rock drum kit selected, and as you can see on the screen, we've got tracking points for my right foot, we've got my left foot, we've got right hand and left hand, so it's all working as it should. There's no light spills from the window, so the camera
you have
has
to
no
calibrate yourself a
tracking my
little.
movements.
Yep.
That sounds pretty good.
See, that's got to take some
Really good.
brain reprogramming because you don't have tactical
really
you don't have tactical
well.
feedback.
I'm really surprised.
Yeah,
Obviously,
you're bouncing back on your own.
Bluetooth, the cymbals will always move. At one point, you'll be hitting a cymbal, and then suddenly it will turn into a snare, and it was
That's going to take some getting
very
used
annoying.
to.
Whereas this one is amazingly accurate. So good. It's also kind of surprising that it doesn't take long to get used to where all the drums are, and before you know it, you're not even looking at the monitor, you're just looking off elsewhere and playing some beats. Also, another nice feature, if you want to go back to the menu and change up some settings, but you don't want to go all the way back to your PC to use your mouse and keyboard, you can use the sticks. Just hover over where it says menu, give it a hit, and you're in the menu. So for example, let's go to sound, and then from there you've got volume mixing, reverb, you can do center panning, I'm not sure what that is, but you can do it. And then in drum kits, you can select through a few different kits, like the big rock drum kit, you've got percussion kit, you've got a MIDI kit, and there's even a jazz kit as well. And then you can also select your own custom creations. But right now, let's try out the big jazz kit. So just hit apply, done, and there you go, a whole new drum kit.
Sound get cut out on you there? I'm not hearing anything.
I think we had some technical difficulties with Glenn. I
So that
think
was
his
not my
internet
connection.
capabilities went down.
I'm surprised mine haven't with the snowstorm.
That was a pretty awesome video.
I know. I want to see more. I'm curious what the price is on those.
I know, I was following it.
If
Did you
that's not
see me
expensive,
checkmarking
I
and
will buy
hearting it?
one.
That was pretty awesome.
I'll play some virtual drums.
Hopefully Glenn's okay.
Yeah, and didn't get struck by lightning.
Don't say that. That he might come back as a Disney character or something. You never know. It is Glenn. Hey, Tony. You got your keys there? Why don't you play us a song for a minute until Glenn gets back in here with us?
Yeah, I think I got my keys hooked up.
Haha. Let's talk some IT.
Alright, I gotta switch over to the other side.
Uh-oh. Tony's going to the other side. Yeah! Haha. I can
Is that
hear
coming
it.
through?
It is. I can hear it. Waha. Talk some now, brother. Happy birthday, Mickey Mouse. I done chase you around my house. It's your birthday, many more. I hope I don't see you at my door. I don't have no teas for you. I do have sweets and cake and ice cream too. You're getting to do that? But it's mine, all mine. But I will say, happy birthday to you. Happy, happy, happy birthday, Mickey Mouse. Ooh, Mickey Mouse. Thank you kicked my sister down the steps one day. As I slapped my brother upside the back of the head. As I went ahead and stepped on my cat's tail. Yep, that's right. All thanks to you, Mickey Mouse. Happy birthday and many more. And welcome back, Glenn, as we
thank you.
can go ahead and carry on Shhh I.T.
I had a little power spike there.
And just saying happy birthday to
Nice.
me. That's what we figured. Yeah, you had some power.
Yep, little power spike. It didn't actually drop the computer or the TV this time, but it did drop the cable modem. So that was kind of everything.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the one that can't drop.
That's the one we don't like when it drops, for sure. Okay, let me try to. You want to just jump right back in where we were? He was just going into the menu, I think, with the arrow drums, right?
Yes. See if you can find. I really want to check these things out. Do you know what the price is on those?
He was saying at the beginning it was 150 pounds or $200 or about that.
150 pounds. I think we'd.
Oh,
What does that translate into dollars?
that is $6,473.
That's a lot of weed.
More than that. But yeah, that would be a whole lot. This is the, I think this is probably, I backed it up a little bit. So this is probably when he was just going in, showing how you can get into the menu and change the different rock kits or the different drum kits. So let's try that.
Also select your own custom creations. But right now, let's try out the big jazz kit. So just hit apply, done, and there you go, a whole new drum kit. These are also velocity sensitive, and I really don't know how they've managed to make it so good. So for example, on the snare,
How did they make those velocity sensitive?
Because they're watching
it works so
the
well.
camera, how many frames per second.
That's amazing.
So they can tell whether you're really coming down fast or if you're changing direction.
Okay, all these presets sound great, but I think it's about time that I made my own custom kits. So one moment. Charles's rad drum.
And let's not
kits.
forget, this
Hot
is MIDI.
snare, let's just pop
You
that
can
in
use
there.
any
That's the other big thing.
MIDI drum kit.
And of course the all-important cowbell, got to have that on there. So we want the snare just here, then we've got the 10-inch rock tom. I think we're going to put that there, then the 12-inch here, and a 16-inch just here. That seems about right. Got the tambourine, then we've got the all-important cowbell. That's going to go right here. This is a real mess, isn't it?
The toms really work great.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a 3D mode in the bottom right there? Okay, we have to give that a go. Oh, look at this.
What does that do?
So it's almost like VR, where you're in
Seems
your
a
own
little bit
virtual
janky
kit.
compared to the regular mode, but this is a beta. Yeah, I can definitely see the sticks glitching out a little bit. But for work in progress, this looks pretty good. Let's try loading my drum kit.
Well, yeah,
Charles's
that's
rad drum kit. Go.
taking a lot of
that's a
CPU.
mess. I mean, it didn't look that great in 2D, but it's a true monster in 3D. Now, obviously, I'm not a professional drummer. I am very much an amateur. In fact, I can't even twiddle my sticks while playing. Like, I have no idea how you guys do that. I've got to say, I'm very impressed with what we've got here. In fact, I'll even go as far as saying that this virtual drum kit is better than my electric drum kit. The samples sound better, there's more variety for customization and sounds. I'm just amazed with how good it actually is. And also because you don't have the hit
Wow,
anything, it also
that's
means that
really
it's way
saying a
quieter
lot.
than my electric drum kit. So if your housemates or your family can't even deal with the sound of tapping plastic, these things actually might be a good option. I think you'll have a better experience if you use the Aero drums with a laptop rather than a PC setup like I have, just because it will allow you to play pretty much anywhere rather than being limited to playing just in front of your PC. Although the physical elements of the Aero drums do feel quite cheap, the software itself definitely doesn't feel cheap at all. It's very responsive, the drum samples they've used are very high quality, it does a really good job tracking your movement, and the customizable drum kits are just fantastic. And it also has Midi support, so you can go ahead and use it with your preferred DAW software and open it up to a whole world of new samples. And in fact, as the drum samples are so high quality and it's easy to record
As it
with, you
should.
could probably get away with using this as a studio drum kit, which is pretty crazy. When I was starting this video, I really expected the Aero drums to have more in common with the pocket drums, but honestly, these guys have just blown them out of the water. And in fact, I find myself comparing these more to electric drum kits rather than other air drumming devices, to the point where I'm thinking, do I even need an electronic drum kit anymore? I could save a lot of space if I just bought a laptop and replaced my drum kit with a webcam. But to those out there who are thinking of picking up a Bluetooth air drumming device, I would honestly say give them a miss and go for something like this. Obviously with these you're not going to get any rebound or anything like that, so it's not a truly authentic drumming experience, but it does get surprisingly close. I definitely don't think the Aero drums could replace an acoustic drum kit, but if you're looking for a portable and practically silent alternative, it doesn't really get much better than the Aero drums. And with that, I think that's going to be it for another edition of Looted. Shout out to Keegan Mc...
Yeah, it was definitely pretty cool. And this is on Looted, like I said. I hadn't really checked out much of that stuff, but when I was looking at some of the other different input devices for computers, like those wristbands that were responsive that way, that was another one that we looked at. I think it was MicTech or MicTech for the wristbands. Same kind of a thing. And these, though, he compared two different ones. He did the other one he was talking about, which was a similar name but different company, and they were just atrocious compared to these. So it was totally different.
Did they take the same camera technique or?
No, that was the thing. Is the other ones were Bluetooth, and that's why he was saying he would suggest to give a pass.
Oh,
to the
those were the
technology.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, because those are the first ones he had tried.
I wouldn't even consider the Bluetooth technology because there's known latency with Bluetooth. I'm surprised here. I would imagine there's going to be a tad bit of latency from the time the camera sees it and translates it, but it's got to be really small, like to the point where you don't notice it because it's that close.
And again, it's operating at the speed of the camera, so the number of frames per second that you're dealing with is really, based on however good your camera setup is. So at that point, that's what really determines how well it works in those terms. But once it can see when you're turning around with the stick, it can get you the velocity stuff there.
For somebody like me who's not usually a drummer, I think to try something like this is a great way to like get into drums without having to go get a drum kit. I can imagine that a traditional drummer, though, without that tactical feedback, a traditional drummer who spent their whole life bouncing off the drum might be like, oh, I don't like this, because it's kind of like, it's going from, say, a real guitar to a MIDI guitar on a keyboard.
Yeah, to me, I would think almost I want to say the mesh kits would have probably the most realistic feedback with that, where they're giving you that good bounce. But I'm not sure. I'm no expert on that. The drums that I have are they have more of a solid element to them, where the snare is on its own kind of floating piece, but then the toms are essentially on one big solid piece of plastic, and they're just big rubber pads to hit. Yeah. They're solid. I mean, they have a relatively small area to hit, but that's not really a problem. But you definitely, like, if I'm playing on those and you were in an apartment nearby, you would hear, because it's, again, plastic. You're hitting, you're getting that sound of the thump as you're hitting into it. So it's not as quiet as something like this would be. And that's where something like this has that benefit of being, again, nearly silent, well, like you were saying.
For your situation in an apartment and everything, like that is the best, like, compromise there. As soon as you get used to the, like, lack of the tactical side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, digital drums spent the last 20 years plus trying to simulate natural tactical feedback. They had the same battle there that I had with weighted keys. It wasn't until like 92, 93 when keyboard makers started realizing like we need to make some piano feeling keyboards. And Sonic was the first one. I got the first weighted keyboard that a company tried to do. And back then it was all about like ivory feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you want to get that. I mean, the weighted keys is such a big difference. Like you were talking about that just in general with keys. The difference between a weighted keys and just one of those the very very light plastic keys is just such a difference in feel. Like if you get used to one, whichever it is, going to the other is going to feel so foreign. It's like a completely different, going to a completely different instrument. Like if I
It
had
changes the way you play. It changes the way you write. I don't write the same songs on this keyboard as I do on this one.
Yeah, exactly. This is that other one we were talking about, those wristbands. I think it was the
These are the air guitar guys. Yeah. This is the one Julietta was mentioning in her post, right?
This is the one from that post. That's right.
I want to be able to, I think I could air guitar like Eddie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And these are the ones that it's just basically these little blue wristbands. And it's a Swiss startup, MicTech or MicTech.
I'm just curious about like the fretting hand, like how is it playing predetermined notes, or can you really like?
That's what I want to find out too. I actually haven't checked it out either. So it's a 1 minute video and it doesn't get bigger than this. So it's going to be a small one here.
Has anybody reviewed this? I would imagine something like this. There's a YouTube review out there because you know how inquiring minds are.
One of those things. Pretty cool. Not sure. I assume it is
that's more like
predetermined.
That's more like a trigger than an actual control simulator. That last thing we were looking at, that's a control simulator simulating playing drums. This looks more like a trigger. Like if I do this, I'll program it to play something, and if I do this, then play something else.
Right.
It's still a controller, but it's more of a loop controller, you know.
Yep. So that was just another one of the options that we saw. But the one that was, I was trying to find the one that was the Bluetooth one that he'd first reviewed, because that one we wouldn't go through the whole review because it was just a terrible review. But just seeing how frustrated he was getting with the software the software that it came with was pretty crazy. But
and just dealing with Bluetooth.
Just
dealing with Bluetooth in general. You know, getting Bluetooth to pair is like hit or miss.
Yeah.
Part of it's aggravation.
Mm-hmm. Same guy. So this is another video from Looted. And this is ones that they're basically these black drumsticks that run by Bluetooth.
Look a little smaller for the sticks. The last ones look like Bonham sticks.
Yep.
Have you ever wanted to play the drums but you don't have the space for a full drum kit, or you don't want to annoy your neighbors, or you're constantly on the go so you can't carry around a drum kit with you? Well, these drumsticks might change everything. This is the
These definitely looked way cooler.
Aeroband, and they have actually made a couple of different pocket instruments in the past, including a pocket guitar, which we have
Do they light up?
right here, and I'll explain why in just a bit. And these are a pair of Bluetooth-enabled drumsticks that are said to be a portable, noiseless, and space-saving solution for both professionals and amateurs alike. And as a fully qualified drum amateur, I'm very interested to see how good these things really are. So in the box we get the user manual, handy aeroband carry case, a micro USB charging cable with 2 heads so you can charge both sticks at the same time. Then you've got 2 wrist straps for both of the drumsticks. And then we have the sticks themselves, and I've got to say, they're pretty swanky looking sticks. I like the matte black finish and it just looks like a futuristic drumstick. It's just cool looking. I also expected them to be a lot heavier, but they're actually quite lightweight. They're pretty much the same weight as your regular old
If
wooden
they take that
drumsticks.
look
So weight-wise, they
and
feel
tie it to
pretty natural
RF
to hold. You've got a
instead
power
of
button on the
Bluetooth.
front of each stick right here, so
Yeah.
let's see what happens when we turn it on. Ooh, ho, ho, liking the LEDs.
Yeah, very cool lights.
Ooh, orange LEDs. These drumsticks use Bluetooth 4.0, but despite not being the most up-to-date Bluetooth tech, apparently the latency is only 6 milliseconds, so it should be pretty unnoticeable. Unlike similar drum tech in the past, you don't need to use
that's
a
not
camera, be it
bad.
a webcam or your phone camera to track your movements.
Should be fine.
It's purely motion-based. When it comes to battery life, you can get 10 hours of play from a single charge, which is not bad at all. Now, to use the Pocket Drum, you're going to need
It's
either
the reliability
GarageBand for
of
iOS,
Bluetooth.
or you can
That's
use
the
the
real problem.
Aeroband app, which is available for both Android
So with
and iOS
GarageBand, it might be
devices. The
fine.
Aeroband app allows you to jam with a full drum kit using
But he had
free
issues
mode,
with
and
what
it
he was
also has
using.
a Rock Band / Guitar Hero-esque rhythm game which you can play with level mode and song mode. There's also a limited mode, and I have no idea what that's about, but apparently it's coming soon. And with GarageBand,
So it also
you can
kinda
use different
teaches
drum
you
samples and
drumming.
record tracks, and honestly, it
Yep.
does sound like the better
It has those
option out
options.
of the
That
two,
I do
but
like.
unfortunately, this iPad is so old it can no longer update to the latest iOS, so GarageBand is no longer compatible with it, which is a huge bugger. I might have to buy a new iPad. And when I do,
GarageBand.
I'll probably make a video on
Yeah.
Patreon and actually try and make some loops of these. Ah, there's that haptic feedback. So when you simulate hitting something, it will vibrate. And it does kind of do a good job at simulating hitting a drum or cymbal. It's definitely way better than having nothing. that's for sure.
Interesting.
So once us to start on
Little
level
bit of
mode
haptic
in
feedback.
the basement. I guess this is just going to be the tutorial level, and then we can just do free mode because I really just want to jam out.
Keep your palm down, hold the stick with your thumb and forefinger, and wrap the stick with the last 3 fingers, and keep your body relaxed.
You need to calibrate before starting each game.
Oh, okay.
You need to calibrate before starting each game.
That's not a good start. Yeah, the latency on this iPad is pretty bad. Aha, I've solved it. Just keep hitting and you won't miss any. Oh.
That's cheating.
I like the way the music just ends abruptly.
And
That's always the
this
sign
one
of
he
a
doesn't have
quality
to
app,
worry
right?
about distance or anything.
Before starting each game.
I know.
As
You
long as
tell
it's
me
in Bluetooth
every single time.
distance.
I need to recalibrate, but I'm halfway through the song. Oh, that was close. We were one off failing that. How many stages are there? Just let me play free mode. At least you have the time before a track starts to actually just jam with these things and see what they're all about. And something I really like about these is that they have a velocity sensor, so depending how...
It's your turn.
Shut up. I really like how the velocity sensors built into these things makes it so you can hit the snare really quietly and then build it up.
Now that is
It's
cool.
fun. I like that. Okay, this is really weird. So in this track, you can hear the original drum in the background, and it doesn't match anything I'm doing on the screen. It just feels peculiar. It just kind of throws me off. Right, so that's the first 6 levels completed. We've now unlocked song mode, but where's free mode? Oh, I need to complete a song on song mode to get free mode. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Okay, we have 5 songs to choose from. We've got Up, Down, Treasure, Crazy, Sugar, and Salt. That's some interesting song titles they got there. Let's go for Crazy. Wait, what? Why does it say Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? I'm so confused. All right, let's go back. What about Sugar?
I'm wondering
That-
how
that
tough
says
they
Twinkle
really
Twinkle Little
are
Star
if
as
you
well.
actually
Let's just go
hit
for
those,
Crazy. Come
like,
on, let's
against
see
the
what that's all
table.
about.
You need to calibrate before starting each game.
Whoa.
Don't copyright strike me, don't copyright.
Oh, the music's out. It's gone completely silent. That was weird. There we go.
Angie wants one green and one red stick.
Now you unlock the 3 drums below
Yeah.
in the free mode. If
Wait.
you want to unlock the 3 drums above, you can unlock it by completing the second level of the game mode.
What? So I've got free mode, but I can't use all the drums yet. I can just use the snare, bass, and hi-hat. Oh, come on! If I knew these things were just going to be a video game peripheral, I wouldn't have been that excited. Fine, let's go back onto level mode. Let's go to school, and we've got another 9 stages. Okay.
You need to calibrate
Yes.
before starting each game.
I've done this enough. I know I need to calibrate. Don't get frustrated at the app. Life's too short for that. Just roll with it.
Copyright strike me, don't copyright strike me.
I've lost the symbol. The symbol's disappeared. Okay, resync. There we go. Oh, God, I'm so glad that I'm not failing these because I'd hate to have to do them all over again. That song was long. Why does the hi-hat keep disappearing? This is so annoying. Come back. Ah!
To calibrate before starting each game.
So definitely not the best designed app, it appears.
Yeah,
Zero
then
misses.
that's kind of important for this
SSS,
kind
I'm
of
now
hardware.
elite drummer. Thank you very much.
But again, he did say it does pair with
mobile-
GarageBand with iOS, so it might be a lot better with GarageBand, but we don't know.
It would really make the quality a lot better if they just added a fade.
I
At the
would
end of the
try
songs
it with
instead of having them
GarageBand.
just cut out entirely. Just makes
Yep.
it sound really cheap.
Before worrying about this app.
Before starting each game.
Wait, what the just open that up again. Yep, connect the drumsticks. Why is my song in free mode locked again? Sorry, what? So song mode is once again locked. Apparently it says I need to complete stages 1 through 6 again, and free mode again locked and says I need to complete a song on song mode. And on level mode, both the stages are still available. That's okay, maybe if we complete 2 of 9, it'll unlock everything again, with any luck. So we now have access to the full drum kit. We've got the snare, hi-hat, bass drum, we've got a crash, we've got a tom in the middle, and then you've got the ride. Finally, it only took about an hour to get to this point. That was pretty good. Just having the addition of the crash, ride, and tom just makes it a little bit more fun, if you ask me. Hey, there we go.
Yeah,
Song
if he's
mode's back,
actually
and it
playing
looks like
that,
we've
that's
actually got a
pretty
ton of new
good.
songs as well. Wow, all right, we went from 5 to a lot. I also like that they have 4 categories of songs. They've got Chinese songs, they've got English songs, Japanese, and Korean, which is cool to see. I don't think I really see many Japanese songs on apps like this. I can't believe they have this on here. This is weird. Aoi, aoi, ano sora. So if I complete another song on song mode, it'll probably unlock the free mode again. And I really want to try that with all the drums. So let's do that first before anything else. Free mode.
You unlock the 3 drums below in the free mode. If
Wait,
you
no.
want to unlock the 3 drums above, you can unlock it by completing the second level of the game mode.
Oh, okay. If you, you scare me.
They definitely do look fun.
Ooh, you can add a metronome.
And I think this is more targeted towards the younger audience.
Sure.
And
You know,
what's
this is to get a kid
access my
started to
microphone.
want to be a
Where's my
drummer.
microphone? Oh,
Not to get a
microphone.
drummer
It's recording
to
my
want
voice right
to use
now.
something
Can't really
new.
tell. It's not clearly obvious, but it's asked for access to the microphone. All right, stop the recording. What did that do? If you're recording my voice, I feel bad for you because it sounds like ass. Real big ass. So it does have a record function, but it records out the microphone
Oh,
on
he
your
is
device.
funny.
So you don't exactly get great audio from it. It would be better if it actually just captured the audio straight from the device, but for some reason, they went for the microphone. Now for the true test. If I close this app entirely, just completely close it, and then open it again.
Yeah, not a
set
good
up some
choice.
Sticks, pocket
Yes.
drum, and
But this is the true
everything's locked
test.
again. That's nearly 2 hours down the drain. I don't want to have to do that all again.
And it didn't work. So like he basically had to go and do it all again because it failed him again. So that app was really no good. So he was not a fan of that. We got ads coming up in a second. Ads? No, not ads.
At least a warning.
So it's been a day and I've spent quite a few hours with the pocket drum now, and I'll be straight with you lot, I'm not that impressed. But let's go over the positives first, and hardware-wise, I quite like these. The haptic feedback is a nice touch and actually does an alright job at giving you the illusion that you're actually hitting a drum.
Yeah,
or
it has
cymbal.
some
On the old
interesting
iPad Mini 2, the
features.
latency
Yep.
is quite bad, and it's very noticeable when you're playing level mode and song mode, but when using my
Yeah,
newer but
that's
still
another
quite
problem.
outdated Samsung S7, I had no problem at all. Calibrating the sticks is super easy, just hold them over where the snare drum would be, hit the 2
Oh,
power
good.
buttons, and you're good to go.
Android
The
and
only problem is that the kit does
iOS?
tend to move around
Yeah.
while you're playing, so from time to time you will need to recalibrate the sticks halfway through a song, which is not ideal. Despite that, I have had some good moments jamming with these, and I do think the tech has a lot of potential to be a good introduction into playing the drums, or they could be a good alternative on-the-go tool to practice with. But unfortunately, the real letdown is the Aeroband app. So if you're an Android user or the only Apple device you got kicking around is an old one and this app is your only option, aka me, prepare for an honestly quite frustrating experience. Should probably grab my notes for this this one because there are quite a few bullet points. Free play isn't unlocked from the get-go. To unlock it, you need to play the first 6 tutorial stages on level mode, and even then you only have access to half the drum kit. To unlock the Crash, Tom and Ride, you must complete a further 9 stages, and that might not sound so bad, but the real kicker is that if you close the app and open it again, everything you just unlocked is now once again locked. If this was truly designed with professionals in mind, make your free play mode and the full drum kit available straight away, because I don't think they're going to want to deal with monotonous tutorial levels every single time they fancy a little drum session at the airport. Also, that voice that tells you to calibrate the sticks at the beginning of every single song gets very annoying very fast. But surely the app can't be that bad. It's got a 4.8 on the App Store and a 4.1 on Google Play. 2 words: fake reviews.
Yeah, ratings don't mean
Everybody putting in the
shit
same
these
reviews that
days.
say the same things. Yeah.
Funnily enough, there's actually a load of really good popular tracks that you can play on song
And that-
mode. Just to
that
name a few,
actually
you've got
makes me
tracks
more
from Bon
reluctant
Jovi, Mark Ronson,
to try
Lil
something.
Nas X, R.E.M., The Killers, Blur, Queen, and even Dave Rogers. You know, Dave, the Deja Vu guy. There's also quite a few popular anime tracks like Chala Head Chala from Dragon Ball Z, God Knows from Haruhi, Bluebird from Naruto, Raid Your Dream from Initial D, and they even have Promise from the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack on here. But for most of those tracks, it will have you playing a completely different beat to the one that's used in the songs, and you can still hear the original drum track in the background, so it just completely throws you off. And considering how cheap this app feels, I would be surprised if they actually got a license from the artists or the record labels to actually use these tracks in this app. I'm not saying they didn't, I'll just be surprised if they did. So long story short, this app has quite a few flaws. Now right now I'm sure you're all wondering, where are the pedals at? It's not a full drum kit without a pedal for your hi-hat and bass drum. And that's where the pocket guitars come in.
Ah, the guitars.
Well, these things are tiny. They're actually very close to the actual size of a guitar plectrum. That's quite impressive. These little guys, as well as having their own section in the Aeroband app where you can use them to play guitar, can also be strapped to your feet and used as pedals, which is a pretty smart idea. I'm not going to get into the guitar section of the app in this video, but from what I can tell, they are fairly similar to the Air Jam.
So that is something that we'll look at later.
Which,
Yeah.
wasn't all that great. So
He
let's
didn't
strap
like
these
those.
to my feet and see what happens. So I've got the pocket guitars strapped to my feet. Currently I have them both set as bass drum pedals, so let's give them a whirl. They're quite quiet. Oh, that's better.
And those are
That's way
Bluetooth
better.
as
So
well.
I currently have both pedals
Yep.
set as bass pedals, but if you want to change one to a hi-hat, all you need to do is press the button on the plectrum itself, and it's changed to a hi-hat. Close hi-hat, open hi-hat. That works surprisingly well.
That is pretty cool.
Yep.
Make sure you're wearing clean socks.
Always good advice.
That really must take some time to like synchronize your brain.
You got to adjust to it. Yeah.
Having the pedals on your feet does make this more of a full drum
You've-
kit experience, but I just wish there was more to do in free mode. Being able to use different drum samples, having a better way to record your own beats would all be instant improvements for the free mode on this app. But you just get the one drum sample and a pretty mediocre way to record your beats. It's still fun, but the novelty
And it
does wear
shouldn't
off
be
very
dependent
quickly just
on an
because
app.
There's not much variety in the app.
Controllers
As I said multiple times in
should
the video,
not
these are
depend
marketed towards
on
amateurs and
software.
professionals alike. But let's be honest here, the pocket drums right now are more like a toy than anything else. I really want to try these out with GarageBand at some point to see if that makes them more of a viable tool
Yeah.
to make music.
That was my
But
question.
At the moment, just having access to the Aeroband app, there's really not much you can do with these. This tech does have a lot of potential, but they're going to need to put a lot more work into that app before I can take the pocket drum seriously. If they cost 40 to 60 pounds, I'll probably give these more of a pass. But
They need
just
to
the
think of
drumsticks
it as a
alone are gonna set you
controller
back
and not a
£100 or
toy
$130,
for
and
their
with the two
software.
pocket guitars, £150 or $200. If you're a professional, I really don't
so
see
both sets
any
are about
benefit in
200.
getting these. And if you're just starting out and you're looking
I
for
would
an
totally buy
alternative
the
to
other
just
one.
your regular old
Yeah.
acoustic drum
I
kit,
want
you're
the
probably
other
gonna
one.
That was his
spend a
advice.
bit
And the
more
other
than
thing is the other video he made later. This one was October 2020. The other video was, I guess, 3 or 6 months later. So it was basically, and that was when he was doing the other video. He was like, and if you remember when I did the other video, and he pointed up to the other one which is this one, the one he had done previously. But seeing those, I didn't check yet his video for the guitar portion, But that could be cool too, to see if the guitar pick experience, like you were
Like,
talking about,
yeah,
if it's
those
all
pocket
preset.
guitars that he was using, the pocket guitars that he was using for his drums, are those meant to actually be like virtual guitars, or
Yep,
are
that's
they
the
just
purpose of those as
little
well.
fake triggers?
Aeroband is the name of the thing. So let me just see if they put a link here. I'll go check it out.
I mean, they have some interesting ideas.
Mhm.
I mean, it's still kid level, their approach, and needing an app. They need to think like a controller. That needs to be a virtual controller, standard. Plug it in, whether it's USB or however you connect it. It should recognize as a trigger
Yep.
or a bunch of triggers.
Now they show the pocket guitar itself as $40, and we can see if that has
$40.
just for the little. I think it's for the guitar
Okay,
itself.
$40. I will piss away $40 on a cool toy.
Yep, and that again would be
100 is
just
usually
one.
my
So
like
I
breaking
think you
point.
would technically you would want two of those, and again that would be the 2 foot pedals, and then if you wanted the drumsticks as well, that'd be the separate purchases for all of them. But I'm just looking for if they have video here. They do look cool though. They do look like they're just an oversized guitar pick. They have.
Well, if they could get air guitar where like my strum and if it could read my chord hands, I bet you I could learn to actually. I think I do know how to play the guitar chords. I can air guitar like a motherfucker. Pick up a guitar and it's like, whoa, not the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Here's one. So they have. This is a bundle that they have going on. I mean, just put it out there. We don't have any affiliation with them or on any of that. So this is just stuff we're finding. But this is the Aeroband website, and this is one of the bundles they have that has the
Yeah, to
Bluetooth
do the whole
dongle
drum
and
thing
yeah,
that he was
both
doing.
sticks and the guitar. Yep, and the guitars. So they have it for $149. Let's see what the video is all
Yeah,
about.
see, that's a little. I mean, it still strikes me as a toy that should be like $50 to $60, and I would buy that at Christmas for one of the kids just so I could try it.
They do mention again the one. If you just got one of the guitar picks, that would be just $40 for that one. So that would be one way to test it out.
And
So
you
so I
got a
might do that.
bass.
Let's see what this looks like.
You got a bass.
Yeah, should work on bass too. That'd be fun in this. Be fun in the
I'd
sidewalk.
actually
cafe.
I'd like one of these just to get my metronome set up. One
Yep.
on my right foot. Connect to the TV.
So definitely interesting.
So it's not just for the tablets. I mean, if it's connecting to the TVs, it must
I mean, that could have
utilize
just been
smart TVs.
yeah, an
Apps.
Apple TV or what have you as well. Depends on what they were doing.
Yeah.
If they were in the app, then it would have been Android. So yeah, it would have been different. But pretty cool though. Like you said, that would be one way to go about it. The other way, like you said, was the just using the one guitar, and that would be just then it's the same app and the same everything, but you're just using the one guitar pick instead of having the whole set. And that
Yeah,
one I
I
don't think we
could
have any
see
really good
getting
videos
one
for.
of those. Just one for my right foot for my tempo, like
Sure.
trigger, would be useful. I was saying that last night, or the other night when I was talking to Kevin. You know, I keep my metronome this way, but I'm still trying to play to a metronome, and that one doesn't work. But if I was actually setting my metronome with my foot's already doing it for me.
Yeah,
And the best part about that is you could even do it on the toilet.
Those could do it.
You can take it
could
anywhere
even
you
do
want.
that on the toilet. This way your legs and your feet don't fall asleep. Sorry,
There
I
you go.
had to share.
So you're just bouncing. Yep, yeah.
That's right. Green lasers, green lasers.
I want one of those toilets. You know your little memes, that picture that has the toilet with the keyboard in front of it? I
Yeah.
totally want one of those. Yeah, the piano toilet.
Yeah. You also were looking at the one that has the guitar like built into the seat, just because that one looked cool. Wouldn't be as useful though.
Yeah.
But just don't string it.
I can't play it.
No, that's not a player.
That's the shit.
Literally. Exactly. But it was neat that they have some different approaches to input devices for computers. And then another one we were looking at was just using an iPad as an input device, or you were talking about people who like to input their drum tracks.
iPads are.
Yeah. Inputting their drum tracks just by tapping things out with their fingers, finger drummers, people who are doing it that way. And that's, perfectly valid, perfectly good way to do it. Main thing is being able to get a good sound. And that's where some ways work better than others.
I think technically these days, every musician is going to have to accept that people will make music with all sorts of controllers. And I know old school traditional musicians are like, oh, that's not a real guitar because he's not playing it like a real guitar. But tomorrow's music is going to get made by controllers, and samples have reached that point where they sometimes sound better than the originals if you don't mic them properly.
Yeah.
So this will become another way of simulating drums or anything else.
Mhm.
Tomorrow's controllers are just trying to make it easier for you to express it.
I like
What's that
a
is?
good old wooden stick with the pots and pans and making some good old stuff. Opening butter dishes, slamming doors, glass breaking, throwing rocks.
Making any kind of sounds you want.
hopscotch. That's right. Any kind of sounds you want.
That's one thing that's also good about
Well,
interfaces
even the
like
mouth
one.
guitar,
I
When I was-
know that I play the
like the mouth guitar you play. Yeah, and if you had Soul Makes Mike,
Mhm.
you could be
That's right.
playing that mouth guitar with Soul Makes Mike, and I could turn it into real guitar.
Yep.
Like that real time.
Mhm.
But I
That-
don't have
would
Soul
that be
Mix.
strictly a Melodyne
I
thing,
don't
or is
have
that just
Soul
in general?
Mix Mike, and he's all the way in Australia.
No,
and Wesley
he
just
has
stuffed
the
me in a
advantage of being
suitcase
able
and
to do it
shipped me
real time.
over.
Oh, right.
Well, he has the advantage of being able to do it in real time because he has a controller. That mic is a controller that lets him do it in real time. If you do it and record your track, Melodyne, you can always turn it into a guitar afterwards. Post conversion is in real time. You can sit there and wait a minute while it turns it into MIDI, and once it does, you can pick a sound and it'll play it
So I could do
the way it's supposed to. You
and
just can't do it live.
Aussie. I mean, wait, let me get this right. Aussie, right? Because that's how I say it, but it's supposed to be Aussie. So I
Aussie.
could do an amplified
It should be Aussie.
Australia tour, and I can visit everybody. But I tell you, chimes, anything that makes noise, hide it. Hide it. You've been warned.
You'd probably have to listen to somebody or get some digidrew going while you're down there, right? Listen to some of that.
Didgeridoo.
Ah,
That's a big instrument.
Didgeridoo.
that's a big instrument.
Yeah, it's probably like
Didgeridoo,
3 times the
didgeridoo.
size of me.
We'd have to get you a little ladder so you can climb up to the top of it.
Yeah, right. I'll just sit on your shoulders, Glenn.
Yeah,
That's
that
a whole
works.
6'7".
And now anybody comes up,
Yeah.
you start swinging that thing around. No one's gonna mess with us.
That's right. That's right. And I know it's not gonna fall because I got plenty of support.
That's right.
Well, if you fall off of Glenn, that's like
long
falling
way
off
down.
the Empire State Building.
He's the jolly, not green Glenn.
Well, I could be. Wait, I could be green.
I've seen
see,
them.
now he's the jolly green, the jolly
Ho,
green
ho,
lens.
ho.
Don't make me angry.
Don't
You
make
wouldn't
me
like
angry.
me when I'm angry.
When I get angry, then we have problems. Then we get evil. Evil Glenn getting angry. But we don't do that very often. Much more often.
Or if you're
I'm
being
green.
nefarious, if you're scheming.
Scheming, you just kind of float around, hiding in the shadows. It all depends what kind of mood you're in. But the shades usually cover it. And usually the blue's a little brighter.
IT time.
Yep.
We talk a lot.
Well, a lot of people have asked us about these filters.
Yeah,
I get
true.
more people asking me about this shit these days than they are about sound stuff. Like, wow, how did you do that? It's a filter. Like, phones are the ones who started this. Now the computers are just
Catching up.
taking it over.
I mean, some of them are crazy. 'Cause
Well,
you can just
the snap cam on the computer is way cooler than the ones on the phone. The phone filters are cool, but the ones you can build on the computer are.
I can be Shrek if I want.
Copyright.
And then Donkey comes in and says, "No way."
Man, what an ass.
But it all
All
depends.
right, I'm done talking.
Don't be an
IT.
ass.
Yeah, it was technically a valid point. But yeah, the filters are kind of cool, and they're just a lot of fun to play with too. Like, you know, even the ones that distort are really cool. And even let's see, I think some of them were Avatar was a pretty good one. I don't remember how they. Yeah, there you go. So it does a pretty good job of the
See,
face
that
tracking.
looks very natural.
And
And
you know, if you're talking, it
that's
actually looks
another,
like he's talking and all that.
Just like those drums, the first ones that he showed.
Mhm.
This is the same kind of technology and implementation. The way that this tracks the face and parts of the face and adapts to it is the same way that those cameras were picking up those drums.
Trying to see where it like cuts off. Sometimes if you get too close to your eyes, it'll stop tracking the face.
I bet
And all of a sudden
you're
your
going to
face
see a
disappears.
bigger. You're going to see a bigger demand for those 3D cameras. You know, those cameras that are really doing 3D sensors have a lot of value.
Mm-hmm. We have the round ones. I like this one because it has the image. You know,
Oh, it has your. What
Yeah,
is
it's
the
your own
name of that
reflection.
one? I was looking for that one.
That was the one you were looking for. I think that was the one that's just called glasses. Let me check.
Yeah.
Because this is the other one. Let's see here. That first one, I think.
Because I've been trying to
is
figure out
this
how to
one.
load these.
Yep. This is literally just called glasses.
I want to load these into Lens Studio.
But it's all lowercase. So it's all lowercase glasses. And the picture is like a guy with a full beard and glasses. Or actually
Have you had a chance to look at Lens Studio?
I haven't, but I see that these are all made in there, and I would like to start checking that out because I mean some of these are really good. Like the
Well, I'd like to edit, and I'd like to edit them like this. I want to edit
This kind
these
of stuff would be pretty
glasses,
cool.
and I want to put the Amplify logo inside of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one way you could do that is if you had it's showing your reflection. So if it was looking at the Angified logo, then those glasses that we were just looking at would have those in the reflection. And then you could kind of record that or whatever, but then you'd have to be wearing them on your face.
Yeah. I think I could rebuild this in Lens Studio from scratch. I don't know how to load these filters into Lens Studio. That's what I haven't been able to find. I think the filters themselves are like HTML. You know, you can't get to the source of like a JavaScript from the HTML page. With these filters, you get the filter into your SnapCam, but you can't load that filter in an editor and change it.
Right. It's a one-way thing.
It's got its own like kind of copy. Yeah, it's got its own copyright protection in the sense that the filters you load into SnapCam or over on Snapchat, they're just scripts.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't change the script. It's compiled.
Yeah. But I do like the fact that there's so many things that are available. You can just spend hours going through all the stuff here and just messing around with it all. It's kind of fun. I like the The one Shrek one where it was different than the first one, where it
They
actually
definitely
distorts the
make the
face.
conferencing. Now that one's good. That one is like you
Because it
look like
distorts the
Mark
face in a good way.
Ruffalo's Hulk.
Don't
Yeah,
make
yeah,
me
it's like
angry.
what they did to the Hulk in the last one.
It does work
I
pretty
grow
well.
antennas out my head.
I just smile too much to make it work though, because it just looks so silly. But it really blows up the eyes and the mouth.
But it picks up everything in the like from the nose recognition and the eyebrows and the mouth. There's a lot of power to that.
Yeah.
10 years ago, Hollywood was spending millions and millions of dollars to accomplish this. And 10
Yeah.
years later, we are doing this shit off of our phones and computers with little filters that cost nothing.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy,
It's a
right?
big jump.
Yep. Gotta love it though. Fun times. I like the sunglasses best though.
And these are visual controllers.
It's important. I mean, it's just as important as the
It's
audio stuff.
nice
Gotta
to
put it
be
all
able to
together.
wear shades without having to put them on.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is they don't exactly help me with the bright light though. But you can also see that like they're kind of hanging
Yeah.
out on your hand. Like if you do this, it's like, well, what's going on there? Blocking half of it out. But
And
they're
it
a lot of
actually
fun.
would be useful, like when you use like this conference lighting, like the boom, that's without the light, that's with. I actually could use shades right now because that shit's bright when it's in front of you.
Exactly. I mean, I have these on actually
I
very
feel
low.
like I'm getting a tan.
But if I just like brought the brightness fader, like watch your eyes because this gets bright.
Whoa.
And that's just the fader on
Well,
the
you got-
the light bar
holy
here
shit.
on that color. So it's like it's got a lot of range. It gets really bright. And
Yeah,
that color,
you got
that
some
color is kind
heavy
of like
duty
a
lights.
yeah. I mean, even like the darkest color, like maybe the dark blue, like the dark blue like that. I mean, it looks like I'm barely there. But if I brighten that one up, it's like it also gets really intense. So I would kind of need shades if I was sitting in light that bright. But it's like you can just kind of find your feet.
I was gonna say it looks like you need some sunscreen.
Exactly. And then you get it down to like really super low. But it's good to have a fader and the ability to change to whatever color. And then whichever color, take that color and go with whatever amount of brightness you need. Can't even track my eyes at that level because I can't keep my eyes open. It's so bright. But 6, I think.
Wow,
that
you
one's
got
the
a
best
lot
one.
of control over those too.
Well, this is that full light bar, so I just have them all the same color right now. But if I changed
Yeah,
them to the second round of things, it's like all of them are different colors. So you would see that,
It-
like different color in this hand
See,
than this
that's
hand. It's like
nice.
green
Yeah,
over here and
that-
blue over there. And it goes through.
I'd say
5
like this
different.
combination's my favorite.
And it kind of keeps the lighting more
It's
even.
nice
usually
having like a
because-
professional light setting in your room, huh?
Yeah, it's not bad. And I figure while I have it, I might as well use it, right? I mean, it's here, so it's like having it sit around and do nothing doesn't make
Oh
sense.
yeah. Are you kidding?
Ryan, can you turn that light up one more
If
time?
I
Super
was a
bright?
lighting guy.
Yeah, super, super bright.
Okay, we'll do it, but we'll do it with this one. So this is with the
Come
4 different
on.
colors.
Don't be a turkey. All right, now turn it off.
Whoa.
Turn it down, turn it down. Wait, not off, but
That's
down.
a turkey
All right, how
getting
many
microwaved.
spots do you see?
Oh, I
see
closed
3
my eyes.
spots?
There are
How many
4
spots do you
lights.
see?
There
I
are
just had to
4
ask
lights.
for a friend, you know?
Yep, it does get super bright though.
I see 2 Glens and 4 Anges.
Yep. Exactly. But yeah, actually, the multicolor is not bad because that way, and again, I have them all kind of aimed where like one's up over here, and then one's kind of a little further this way, and one's over here, one's over there. So right now, it's like blue, purple, green, and red. Or
Oh,
orange,
that's how it blasts.
And that's how it kind of blends.
Rainbow.
because I've got a whole rainbow going across. But there's also modes where it actually goes through different presets on its own. So like if I go into the one, it'll do slow switches. Another one will do fast switches where it'll turn all the lights off and flash through like individual colors. This is just like a red one and then one single blue one. It'll go through a bunch of different.
Oh, it's actually
presets.
cycling?
It's cycling on its own through different presets.
That can be handy.
And you can actually
Yeah,
change the speed with a tap tempo. So you can just,
That can be handy.
if you just do a tap tempo, usually you can change the speed on the different programs. There's also a fader that can do it.
All right, Ange, we need our own lights.
Yeah, these are fun. This is just a
I want that.
DJ 4-bar light, which is kind of fun to play with. but I've been looking at getting other stuff into the lighting rig as well, because there are other things that splashing light up the wall, for example, would be one.
I would imagine in the last decade, you've seen prices drop dramatically on lighting equipment. Like the
Yeah.
way that DJs have come out these days has had to bring the equipment cost down. The more people
also the
want
fact that
shit, the
everything-
cheaper shit is.
Well, everything also went from the old school heavy stage lights with the gel in front of them for the different colors. I remember the gel lights, and those would get super hot and they were super energy intensive. and
LEDs.
Everything's on LEDs, and everything is much more.
Yeah.
As they get better and better, they're going to get
Takes
cheaper and cheaper.
no power
Yep. And like these, the one thing was that these are RGB.
and
there's-
last forever.
Yeah, they last great. I mean, they're very durable. You can just throw them in a bag, take them where you're going, you're all good. With those other lights, they would get fragile. They would break at times, and when they did, they would be very expensive to fix because you'd have to get those bulbs replaced or what have
Yeah.
you. But these are great. The other one that I'd had was I was telling you about the little, just a small enclosure.
That's probably why you see more DJs and one man performers these days. Oh yeah, that's old school.
Now, this is just I got it, Home Depot or whatever, or But the idea was the
Yeah,
bulb
that's
that's in
more
there.
work light.
It is, but the bulb that's in there that I put in there is a floodlight size, and that floodlight is the GE Smart bulb, where it's the one that has millions of colors. So I have an app on my phone where I
Yeah.
can just hit a button and change it from
Oh.
red to blue to purple, like any color I want, and I have like presets set up for like 20 colors. But I'll have this aimed at like the banner
You
of
can
the band,
change that.
and I can set this to any color I want. Yeah, all I need
No
is power.
shit. So
No other connection to it. Just hook this up to power, and then from my phone, it wirelessly connects to that.
so it's
and I
just the
can-
bulb.
Just the bulb.
The bulb is doing all the work. You can literally
bulb
put
and the
that
app,
bulb
yep.
in anything.
Yep, and I have the app on my phone and my iPad, so I have two different ways of communicating to it.
How does the bulb talk to the app?
Bluetooth.
Wi-Fi?
It's either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I'm not sure actually. I'd have to check, but I've had no problems with it as far as the way it's hooked up. Even like across the whole, like you saw the setup that I had the other day with that big dance floor in the front, and we had the the band playing over there. Like if I was all the way in the back over there, it would still be. I'd be able to just hit the button on my phone and make that banner change color, no problem. But it's really handy for that because I'll do it to highlight the banner of the band, the band name or what have you. And if I have a dark red scene going on in the colors, like. I come over here and I go to the dark red scene over here, then I can switch the light over there to a bright color so that they can see it better. And then I'm switching to a different color over here. I can switch the banner to a different color, and if I want to, I can synchronize them. But I usually I'll change the banner now and then, and every once in a while throughout the night. But I'll do the light show with all the different colors depending on like if the band is all singing together, I'll have all the lights together, and if the band is all singing separately or doing separate parts, I'll do individually. I can also do a different one
Where
where
do
I'll
you
highlight
get
one
those
person.
bulbs?
This is actually the LED light
Where
bulb.
is it
This
that
is
you get those
that
bulbs
bulb
from?
I got actually. I think it was also at Home Depot. Like when I got the actual, but I've seen them at Best Buy.
I was
also.
going to
I saw
say,
them- I saw
is
them at
that a
Best Buy the
Home
other day.
Depot kind of thing?
Could be Best Buy. Could be something like a Walgreens
shit.
or wherever. I mean, there's a number of different places because it is technically just like if you ever go wherever you would buy light bulbs normally, you might see one there that it's a little bit more expensive because it is again something where you're hooking it up. But actually, in the Jersey studio, Joey went and got 4 of those and installed them in the studio in the lights, like up in the studio space where we play. So he can just go on his phone, just go boom, hit a button, and now it's like dark blue in the studio, or now it's red. It's pretty cool.
You're telling me nowadays a musician can go down to Home Depot and get bulbs that can change colors on the fly from an app. My band room would have been so much cooler in the old days if we had this kind of shit.
So this is the last color I had it on, which is like a purple, I guess, or pink. But let me see if I have. Let's open the app real quick here. But I can just go into the app literally and, again, just hit a button and I can show you what the app looks like. And it's just, I have all these presets that are on it from that I'd set up for different colors where you can just pick from.
What is it about the bulb? How does the bulb actually go to a preset color? If I say blue, what in the bulb is actually making it turn blue?
It is by GE. So
Is
it's
there
a
like an RGB setup in the bulb?
GE Smart bulb.
It's like magic though. Like
It
what
is-
is
it
this
is like
magic bulb made of?
Yeah, exactly. Unobtainium. No, I have no, it's. I would have to look them up, but it's.
This is some Harry Potter shit. Kevin called it
does freak people
earlier.
out. It does freak people out sometimes because like when I first showed it to one of the guys in the band, he was like, "Wait, what?" So he's like, "What color is that?" Oh, that's a good color, but it'd be neat if it could be blue. And I just like reach over my phone and go, "Boop," and made it blue. And he's like, "Wait, what just happened?" It's not connecting right now just because I was having issues with it before. I'll try that again later. But yeah, sometimes like what it will do is it'll default to the last color I had. So the last time I'd set it up, I had it on this nice dark blue. And so like every time we would set up for sound gigs, we don't always have where we're setting up our stuff. We're usually bringing our own little table and our own little setup and whatever. We have our own little corner, but there's not always good lighting over there, especially because they'll turn house lights down and then we'll only be using our light bars for stuff. But by having that one,
Yeah.
I can just clip that to the table and have it shining kind of down on the floor on the bottom. So we have like a light area so that we can see, what we're doing in the area, but it's not like bright. and
So you
annoying
don't
people.
trip over shit.
So we don't trip
Yeah.
over shit. So if we need cables, I can get down there and dig some cables out or whatever and go replace something. Because we've had issues like that in the past where, one of the speakers starts going bad, or we had issues where the monitor speakers were overheating and turning themselves off. So like we kept going and, monitor's just off. So you go turn it back on. It seems fine. You can hear everything. Okay, good. You get up to walk away. You don't even get 3 steps away and it turned itself off again. It's like, what is going on? So it turned out they were thermally protecting themselves because they were getting so hot because they were piping in heat that was literally blowing right past those speakers. So that was just a placement issue.
And they needed blue ones.
And they needed blue ones.
Yes.
So I went over here and I went blue, light blue, or my favorite, the dark blue.
The heat on those probably isn't too bad, right?
The
You
heat,
said
these
that's all
don't heat up
LED
at
based?
all. It's all LED, and these are.
That's-
We actually have 2
yeah.
different types when I do those gigs. The ones that my light bar actually has the smaller elements where they're only maybe that big around, and you'll see like 3 lights in it. And that's where like all the magic happens all on the inside of those, right? So it's within the lenses where there's the individual LEDs to get the different colors coming out. With the other ones, the elements are actually like this
See-
big, but it's all individual little LEDs. So like when it's all red, you'll just see all red dots from the red LEDs. If it's all blue, you'll just see the blue dots from the blue LEDs. When it's a mix, you'll see all the different LEDs lit up, but it throws the light of the right color to a distance.
Have you ever dealt with those old school lights that are like blazing hot?
Oh yeah, that was actually what they were using in this band before,
Yeah.
a little bit before I got there, and they still had some of those lights still left over, the blazing hot gel lights. But we also
Yeah, it
used
was
them up
the
at the mountain.
norm.
We also use those up
Like,
at the mountain though, where we have them
the
up at that
LED
mountain stage.
The LEDs have pretty much taken over.
Yeah.
For good reason.
And
But,
lasers, because
like, I
lasers
can
are fun too.
see some lighting setups still having hybrids, and those old school lights were awesome, but man, they got hot as hell.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the thing, is that we did use those in our light setup over at the mountain, and they also had some that were projecting out over the crowd so that you could have things on the dance floor. And a lot of times it's like projecting down from up above, and it'll be swirling around or spiraling or something, so that if you're out on the dance floor, or if you're looking from a distance, like you can see the dance floor. It looks like inviting. It looks like, pulling you in, to bring you up there.
And that's where lasers come in handy.
Exactly. And that's my next thing to add to the light show, because I have this light bar and I have the light bar that the band has, and they're both
I'm
controlled from the
surprised
same
you
controller
don't
I
have a
have.
shitload of lasers.
And that's the next thing for me to add. But that's just stuff to add as I go on. I'll grab a new piece here and grab a new piece there. For now, the next thing, or the last things that I had gotten, was additional cabling, just to be able to put the things further apart, and that bulb for the that light where I can change the colors. And that one was huge, just for the utility of being able to use it for our area and change colors, to make it whatever I want, red area or blue or whatever. And it's kind of cool that I can just change it from an app on the phone. And then another one would be throwing lights that throw up the back wall, so that like their lights is like a light bar that you would put along the bottom, and it would have a bunch of LEDs in it. But the whole idea is that they all throw the same color, or you can have it programmed to throw different colors, but it's going up the wall. So it shows like stripes, going up the wall. So it would look like, a big blue stripe and a red stripe or whatever. It looks like, plumes going up the back wall of light. So it's kind of neat to combine something like that with these light bars, so that the light bars are pushing, whatever light colors you want around on the stage, and then you have those behind just to offset. So it's some fun stuff though.
You got to do like a reverse Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. Give me lasers with sharks.
Laser
With
beams
sharks.
with sharks on it. Gotta have sharks.
Instead of sharks with lasers.
But there's going to be lasers involved, and there's always got to be sharks involved. Although crocodiles could work too. We might be able to negotiate that. Like we maybe get the lasers on the crocodiles more easily, because they can crawl around on land too.
That's a crock.
As long as I got some
It's a crock.
lasers.
As long as they got lasers, that's right. Don't chip me out on the lasers. LEDs are not going to work in that one. But that's okay.
Green, please.
Green? Sorry.
He's dealing with LEDs. He can change that shit to any color he
I
wants.
meant no. I meant green lasers.
Green
You said
lasers. That works
lasers.
too.
I said green lasers. Yep.
Now that's the thing is the two colors of lasers that we usually do see are red and green. So you're
But
definitely
the green is
in the
probably
win.
killing your eyes, so you could go back to blue if you like.
Go light blue. Light blue too bright. Dark blue.
It's completely your call.
That's where the
And
4-color
just
was
giving
good.
you Snapcam makeup tips.
Getting the multicolors, and that way you get different shadows. So it's like bright green over there and darker blue over there, but it all kind of mixes in the middle. But then it's all behind my glasses. Oh my god, that works. But the filters are fun, and actually the
All right, and you want green lasers?
the green lasers, you got them.
I'll give you green
Yay.
lasers.
Now we need those drumsticks attached to
See?
them.
Drumsticks with lasers. That's trouble.
That's right. Because those drumsticks, if they had lasers, at least I know, like, or like a little light at the edge that would like pop out. I could actually pretend like I was in Star Wars, and we could battle, and that would probably be
If you
pretty
do
cool
this
to me.
right,
Bouncing
it's
around.
kind of like drumsticks. Like I'm playing some laser drumsticks.
Now give me a 4/4 time.
Look, I'm John Bonham Jr.
Now get those toes tapping.
Okay.
I want
Yeah.
some lead guitar.
I'm a
Be careful
headbanging
before
fork.
you get forked. I am not doing any puns, I swear.
Nope.
This IT is
Okay, I
just
think
too
I could be a
easy.
head drummer.
If you start with puns,
You
you're
probably
gonna
get
send
a
the cops
headache
after
after a
you.
while.
Mhm.
Oh,
They would actually.
you're under arrest, Ange.
You're under arrest.
Well, then I'm going mute. Continue.
What about the there we go. The classy beard.
You scared
Stylish
her.
beard. That works. Or the cat face. Meow.
Ooh.
Meow.
Oh, actually, the cat face works cute on you.
Meow, say. Meow.
Trust me, I'm a cat.
I'm a cat. Meow. the voice just reminded me of the
See, this
Danger Mouse.
this lends itself to, skit comedy in the future.
Mhm.
This stuff lends itself to new ways of producing material.
That one's always funny too, because it changes based on your expression.
Oh, it actually does adjust to your face, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it reads your face.
It's not one of those that you have to force to change.
No. But it doesn't always read the right expression.
Oh,
but
that's pretty
it's interpreting.
cool.
Like I'm not mad,
Yeah,
but it says that I'm mad. But it's all
Well,
completely
the AI wonders what's in it. If I do this with my eyebrows, it
It
mean
means,
I'm angry.
right.
How we perceive emotion is part of like what that AI is trying to understand.
With this one, you show your hand, and you
Yeah,
get
I
a
like
fireball.
those hand ones.
And if
And
you
you
go from,
should be able to shoot that fireball out.
go
Hey,
from the one hand,
poof.
and you get it to go to the other hand. But I think my lighting in here is bad for that, so it's not going to read the hands as well as it should.
Yeah,
But the
see, I want to be like
Techno-Viking-
Doctor Strange.
Techno Viking doesn't care.
I actually loaded that one because of Mad Cracker.
Yeah,
I was
yep.
looking for like a Viking filter to what I was listening to, one of his tracks. I was like, this is Viking music.
Well, we have just the regular Viking beard, where it's just the beard. Kind of flows nicely.
That'd be a wall track.
That'd be a wall track, yeah. And then you got the one where it's got the the angry Viking, the mad Viking face.
Well, that'd be Wall and Mad Cracker.
Yep. And then there was a third Viking of some other thought, but don't even know. He's around here somewhere. Oh, what about the elephant? You get
I
the
do
elephant
like
face.
that elephant one.
Don't do that at home, kids.
Don't try this at home. Mm. But yeah, these are definitely fun though. For this one, you get to choose whether you want the beard
There, now you're suave.
or if you're going to get rid of the beard.
Debonair.
Not bad. And this one, And it actually does read where you can change from this, where you get the glasses and the silly mustache. But then if you just do a swipe like that, you change to a different look where it's the glasses and the bandana.
See, I like those gestures, those ones with the motion gestures. Again, a natural controller.
Yep.
Just like controlling instruments, controlling scene changes. We're getting used to that with swiping and everything else. You don't have to actually hit a screen to scene change.
And that's one of my favorite things about these types of things is seeing what kinds of innovative, whether it's input devices or whether it's, like you said, gestures or recognition, and just the ways that they do things and the ways they make the technology less intrusive and more intuitive. Where it's like, well, how would I want to change my face? I just want to go like this, and it should change. So, well, there you go.
Yes, how well they work.
Yeah.
So it doesn't accidentally do it when you're just moving your hands around. You have to
Right.
do a specific
And if you go
motion
down, it might
that
do
it
it.
picks up accurately.
So basically, when your hand interrupts your face, it's taking that as a trigger, whether it's up or down.
Yeah, that's what it's really measuring.
Twiddle the edge of the mustache there.
The more you understand this, like that virtual drums. Name is Edge. I raised my hand. Please don't send me to the principal's office.
No, not the principal's office.
I raised my hand. I've been there twice
Actually,
this week.
I got myself a new office for that. What did I get here? I have this office here, where we have kind of some bookshelves, a little classy little area there. For stuff. We have the professor look where it gives you the glasses and the auditorium. So this would be a good one for having conversations.
Oh,
where we're
damn.
talking, a little lecture hall action.
I barely noticed the glasses. Actually, they look so natural. I was like,
Yeah, well, when we were wearing sunglasses the other day, people were saying, "Wait, you're not actually wearing those?" And it's like, no, that's part of how these work. These work that well. Like they can same thing with your glasses, but they're like, where would they get that reflection in yours? And I like that you can program that as well.
I wish I had some cool ass ones that were this good.
I found it. You have the green lasers, right? But we could have a laser fight at some point because all I have to do is raise my eyebrows, and then I get the lasers on this one, like they're supposed to, if it reads the face right. Should usually start doing the laser. Oh wait, custom trigger. There you go. So
I think
you have to
you're
turn it
gonna
on.
make a sad face.
Oh, whoa.
And they follow wherever I'm looking.
Okay,
So.
I want that one
Okay,
later.
there's the red and the green. Jason, we're covered.
Yep. I got the red. He's got the green. We got them both. This one's just called Evil Lasers with capital.
Should
E,
be able to
capital L.
change that color with SnapCam.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That was a good one though. And then there's the other ones where it turns you into cartoons, or the Chrome was kind of cool where it changed to the black and white. Like this one gives you the glasses and also changes to the the black and white filter there. We got Flash with the Flash.
You
You
get
get the
kind of
lightning
a
bolts.
noir.
I like the lightning
effect.
bolts. The lightning is kind of cool. The Deadpool chase, it did a pretty good job. I mean, again, the lighting depends on how things will go there, but we'll see how that does there. Yeah, let me see if I can find that.
Oh, find some Mickey Mouse.
There you go.
Find a Mickey Mouse.
That shouldn't be too tough.
I didn't know it was his
Mickey
birthday.
Mouse's birthday.
Oh,
One
there
guy
we go.
turned to Mickey.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a good one. There's a few different ones. Some of them it's just the ears, but there's somewhere it probably would be the whole thing. Oh, yeah, that's good. The face tattoo. I don't think that's what we were going
I
for
like
there.
Mickey.
So, you had a
I
problem
like
with
Mickey, but I'm never tattooing him on my face.
You had a problem with Mickey Mouse?
I pity the fool.
Oh, now it's just on one side. Oh, that's cute. So yeah, no.
It's not
Looks
so
like
much
he's taking a
Mickey.
flat on your
It's
cheek.
Minnie.
Let's try that first one because this way it's just the top. Oh, look.
There it is.
Happy birthday, Mickey Mouse. Gotta love it. I mean,
Perfect.
November 18th, right? November 18th, Mickey Mouse birthday. I think this doesn't
It's like
really.
you got two pop filters on your head.
Yep, 2 sets of headphones, one set of speakers. That'd be pretty cool, actually. Set of speakers going out on the top of your head like that, just like Mickey Mouse here.
Oh yeah, definitely
Oh,
make them
Oh, there it
speakers.
is.
that's not bad. Hi,
That's not bad.
kids. How you doing?
It's my
Dude, that is
birthday.
good. And I'll cry if I want to.
And I will.
Oh, it's really
Exactly.
good with the eye blinks. Whoa.
Yeah, well, I was
It's
trying to get it
cool.
like
The
it's following
eyes
my eyes
actually
if they get
like
closed.
blink.
Ba, ba, ba.
See, that's part of the cartoon effect.
Mm-hmm. What else do we have here?
That programmer did a good job with that one.
And that's just Mickey standing
Well,
in your
that is
place, like
Mickey.
ta-da.
Hot hot diggity dog.
And this one just has your eyes back there, I guess, and your mouth talking for Mickey. That doesn't really help much, though.
Looks like your eyes are coming out of his
Yeah,
head.
but actually your
Like
eyes
you
are
are
to
like,
the
like you're like his bad conscience and his good. Well, you gotta be his bad conscience because there's Minnie.
Ooh.
And as we've seen on the
There's
dash a
Minnie.
little bit earlier, guilty pleasures.
Uh-oh. Gotta watch that. Oh, there's the face tats again. Uh-oh. Maybe this one. There you go. So that one fits a little better. M-O-U-S-E.
Oh, that shit programmed me back in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then we have the, we do like the cartoon one, though. The cartoon one fits pretty well.
Damn it,
Yeah.
Disney.
You and Jake, man, twins.
Yeah, I think pretty much anybody kind of would look like twins with this, but the voices are definitely different. That's one of the main things. Although the other thing is that it does have both male and female cartoons, right? So this is what it thinks I would look like as a female cartoon.
Yeah. Into the unknown.
But I still don't
Are
have
you
any hair.
bald? I was gonna
I am still
say.
bald. Wait, I can fix that though. We had, I think I had your blue hair somewhere. Let me see. Because me with the blue hair is definitely unexpected. Yep, there it is. Sky hair. This is the one that Ange was using the other
You
day.
look like a girl there too. I love it. You gotta
Yeah.
laugh like that again. The way your lips protruded out, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely not one that you'll see very often.
No,
And this is not right
no.
either. No. There's all kinds of silly shit up in here.
That shit is scary.
The cartoon ones are a little bit scary. Oh, I did like all the Cartman ones though. Because that was my hey,
Yes.
what's the matter with you?
I want all the problems. Respect my authority.
Respect my authority. So he was going, but the other one actually has him. You know, you get the whole body walking around. So hey. So you can do a little dance.
I think I can do Kenny.
Oh, Kenny would be a good one. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, but then there's the aliens. Look out for the aliens. For that, though, you got to go green. The green alien. But then it tries to make it green and it has trouble, so it doesn't even see it. Try one of the other colors. Blue. Blue gets you a purple alien. Angry alien. Now, I do still have
An
the...
alien that needs to take a poop.
No! Ooh.
That would be a brown.
Look at, see? Constipation. Cha-cha-cha.
Yep, that's a very silly alien. Makes my chin quite small, though, I tell you what. Now, I still have that drummer hooked up we were talking about. So I got Logan over here.
Chin, chin.
Still got that coming through, right?
So, what did you find when you were going through those different personalities?
It's actually, they describe
Do those personalities lend themselves to
different.
finding a different beat that you're looking for and a drummer that's good for that beat?
Yep, exactly. They have them in different styles. Like, let me just... I'll share the screen some other time when we're doing this, but for right now, we've got like Kyle does pop rock essentially. Logan is retro rock. Anders does hard rock. Darcy is a pop songwriter. Mason is a roots songwriter, funky songwriter, experimental songwriter, 60s. And these are all just the acoustic kit people. And then if you go to electric, they've got a whole bunch of people in electric that are dubstep, tech house, big room EDM,
Now,
trap.
why didn't they just go with the strategy of saying the subgenre rather than giving it a name? Like Kyle means nothing, but if he's the rock guy, just call it rock.
Well, that kind of puts it in too small of a box, really. So it's like they have at least 3 different ones that have different rock styles. One's on the harder side, one's on the more folk side, and each of those have 8 different patterns within them that you can then. And you were talking about that box before that has the loud, soft, simple, complex,
Wow.
in order
So
to decide where things are.
They're trying to give the style personality.
Exactly.
Calling it Kyle, it's giving it personality where he happens to be a little like hard rock, but
Yeah.
more fills and
Mhm.
less splash.
Yep. And for any of them, the main thing is that there's a fader at the bottom for fills, where if you have it all the way off, it's going to just play whatever beat you want. It's just doing the straight
Basic.
beat all the way through. If you give it a little bit of fills, then on the 4th measure, it's going to give you that little indicator that you're coming back around, which is really nice for timing and keeping things together. And if you go crazy with the fills, it'll actually do fills at the 2nd measure and the 4th, or actually from essentially it'll do the 2nd measure and then from the 3rd throughout the the 3rd and 4th measure, it'll just go kind of nuts.
This is
But
all
you can also
in GarageBand.
this is all in GarageBand, and
right.
on each piece, we'll look at it on the screen later.
Anybody out there who plays with GarageBand, and I know you're all out there, next week, pop on and show us how you use these drums if you happen to use them.
Yep. Good plan. And in the meantime, it's just for me, the way that I usually use them is instead of putting them actually into compositions or whatever, I usually have it handy just so that if I'm, at a jam or I just want to do something real fast, I can just throw one of the drummers on and start it. And that essentially is my metronome. But instead of a metronome, it actually sounds like a drummer, and you can actually, decide how much you want for the fills. And you can also set up individual, like when we go through it next time, I can show you the grid setup they have where you have everything, like these are all broken out into 4-bar or 4-measure chunks. But each of those chunks, I've got 8 of them. So that if I just played it straight through, that would be 32 measures right there. But you can also go through any of those chunks as many times as you want. So you can go through that first one, 4 times, and you make it a 16 measure thing, and then do the second one twice. And so it's an 8 measure thing, so you can build sections that way and kind of Lego block stuff together so that you're getting that groove for this part of the song and a different groove for another part.
And everybody out there that's a musician that's trying to lay down a track starts with a metronome or drum mentality. And when it comes to this approach, give me a country rock beat to start and then massage it into just enough of the bass and the snare and some fill. How musicians are finding their drum beats this way, again, part of the future. Whether you're looking for Kyle or you're looking to say little bit country, little bit rock and roll, mix it together, complexity 3. This is what we need to start learning. And
the other one that's big,
figuring out
the other one
genres
on any of these that we're working in. There's another spot in the bottom left within GarageBand for each of these drummers. Underneath that box that has that square for simple, complex, loud, and soft, there's one for swing, where it's just generally set for no swing, but you can have it as a light 8th note swing, or a heavy 8th note swing, or a light 16th note swing, or a heavy 16th note swing, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, do you want that Dream Theater precise, dun, 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 or do you want that swaggering, Nirvana-ish kind of off hits?
Even just on this one that we were,
the more you swing, the more it can be, the more it can feel real. Swing helps to bring some realism back to this mechanical approach.
Let's give Logan a round here. Just whatever I had running on him before for the drums, and then if I turn the swing on, and we'll see how that changes it. This is no swing. And I'll go for a heavy 8th note swing. And it completely changes the character.
Yeah.
And then I'll switch to a heavy 16th.
And you hear the precision more. The faster the beat is, the more the precision matters. The slower you go, the more swagger you can actually add there.
And if we went back to an 8th swing light, just a little swing. And then we go back to straight.
And that swing is going on the bass and the snare.
Kick and snare, yep.
More so than the hi-hats.
And for this bar, it's back to straight. So it's just kind of neat that you can take
left-hand combination.
But with any of those, you can take basically, and what I like about it is you can take any element of that. You can, like you were saying before, the complexity, there's the kick and snare set at 1 for this one, for example. But if we brought that up to, it's got 8 different settings for that, that'll give you different patterns for the kick and snare within this one that we're looking at. So you can increase those elements. You can change from when it's doing the hi-hat. You can say you do tom rolls instead. So you can have a section where you're doing tom rolls instead of the hi-hat, or you can go to the cymbals where you're doing crashes and rides. You can add the percussion elements like tambourine or hand claps or maracas, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of neat. And then there's also other drummers where you've got acoustic kits, you've got electric kits, but then there's also just straight percussion.
See,
so Isabella, for example, is all percussion.
Building up the drum kit, for those composers who write like theatrical pieces that build up over the course of like the whole song, it's the same progression, but it builds up in complexity. That kind of approach on the kit can be like 4 measures of this kit, 4 measures with a little more complexity, 4 measures with a little bit more, and you can build like a theatrical 4 or 5 minutes just off of a drum kit that goes from simple to all balls out. You'll get a shift in the beat, and then what you write on top of it can be the ultimate cinematic buildup.
Yep. And like this would be the one that is one of the percussionists. So she's Isabella.
Edge is staring at you.
She's got the pumpkin face.
Dancing.
She's gonna dance. She's got to dance.
Not anymore.
I mean, you can hear that clave, right? That clave means dance.
Yeah. Kind of forces you to.
That's the point. And then if we we'll go complexity up with the congos and bongos. And timbales.
You know, I really am loving congos and bongos these days. All those like hand-based percussions that really like to get some.
Oh yeah, they're fun. We actually have, we have congos in all the studios, so we do have fun with those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish that I had a buddy with some.
And actually, the ones we have in the New Jersey studio are the ones that Joey got for Cheryl last Christmas, I want to say it was. And like the first day that we got them and the first day we played with them in the studio, she just killed it with them. Like it was she just dropped right into exactly where she needed to make that work. So it's kind of cool that it just went like that. Okay, pumpkin.
Great pumpkin.
The great pumpkin. It's coming out. It's the right time of year for the great pumpkin. And she's nodding. Yep. So we have to, unfortunately, say goodnight, but we definitely went over some cool stuff, and we'll have some other stuff. Like Tony said, if you work with GarageBand, this is something we can look at again next week. I'm going to share the screen next week from mine. We'll get that going.
Weird controllers.
Or weird controllers, also good.
If you use a weird controller or an unusual controller, beyond a keyboard or a typical like DJ pad, I would love to talk to anybody who uses any of these new controllers. This is the future of songwriting. Yep,
absolutely. And there were some, the one I was talking about at one point was the Leap motion controller, which I don't have handy right now, but it was something where it basically, you could set it on your table under where your hands would be for your keyboard, and it can see where your hands are, and you can basically type as if you were typing on a keyboard, but you're doing it in the air. So it does remind me of those drumsticks a little bit, but it was just watching your hands, but it was watching from much closer because it was just kind of right under where your hands would be.
Those are right there next to your hand. But this technique, like, hey, put the camera here, get in front of it so it can see your whole body and pick up the sensors.
Yep.
It's like what Hollywood does to make a guy fly and do all that stuff. Except
when they do motion capture,
doing that to play a drum set.
It's like those motion capture balls that they would have on your shoulders and your elbows, like watching where you're moving so that they can do animation based on that same kind of thing.
If you take a suit like Jake has, those bodysuits, and you plot them, and you've got that good 3D camera, boom, you are a MIDI controller.
Yep. There's all kinds of things we could do with MIDI controllers like that.
Totally want to do this. I totally want to do this.
Lots of options.
This is the VR of sound making. This is the VR of music making.
Another thing that we could do. Another thing that we could do is try to reach out.
Cool.
We could reach out to Aeroband or one of those and see if they wanted to send us one to unbox and check out.
They should.
We could ask them.
I will check it out.
We can check it out. We'll find out. But in the meantime, sorry, Ange, if we ran over, but pumpkin time. And again, thanks for joining us. And we went over some fun stuff and bring us new stuff for next week. We'll talk again more about the GarageBand stuff. We'll talk more about the controllers and anything else that comes up in the meantime for tech stuff, for Talkin Shhh I.T.
Lots and lots of shh.
Always. Because there's always more IT to talk.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for tuning in tonight with Tony and Glenn as they talked IT. Don't forget to share the love. Make sure you go ahead. Remember, Tuesday is not 2 for Tuesday anymore. It is Turkey Tuesday. All of your Thanksgiving tracks, thankful, thoughtful, silly, turkey, whatever it may be for Tuesday about Thanksgiving and being thankful. Also, don't forget, tomorrow, it's fucking Friday. Who knows what's going to happen here on Angified with the fam, but it'll be going down at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Saturday, we go ahead. Just remember, it's 7. The S7 Slither Sewer. Be there Saturday. We take a break on Sunday.
On Sunday,
and Monday we
rest.
come back with Mr. Cemetery for Metal Monday. And then Turkey Tuesday with our special interview that we will have at 9 p.m. with Jake Zeke. Then we tune over to Whip It Out Wednesday as we whip it out with a special interview with Buckskin Whiskey. And then we take it with Rumor Mill Motel as we go into some poetry and spoken word. And then we come back and it's Thursday again where you guys can go ahead and so you have 1 week. Got that 1 week to go ahead and notify either Glenn or Tony at Glenn Q or at Tony Dumont if you use GarageBand and like to be on the show next week to talk about it. All right, guys. Till then, we will see you, and thanks for talking it.
Thanks, everybody.
Love is in the air, everywhere I look around. Love is in the air, every sight and every sound. And I don't know if I'm being foolish. Don't know if I'm being wise, but it's something that I must believe in, and it's there when I look in your eyes.